This is a continuation of the ETL exercise. In the first part, we loaded the master data for material, and in this exercise, we are going to load the transaction data for sales. In the previous exercise, we kind of bypassed the persistent staging area, so we did not load any data in the PSA. But in this exercise, we are going to do that part before we upload to the data warehouse. Now, when you log on and you go into the data warehousing workbench, you should be able to see now the data mart that you have created with the master data. You should be able to see your data flow. And in this exercise, we're going to create another data flow. So you'll go to your area, you'll right click and create a data flow. Again, the info area is MU12 and then your last 3 digits. The data flow is MU12. And data flow 044. And the description is that it is data flow sales data this time. I think I forgot an S in there. And the description is MU12 044 data flow sales data. And hit enter. This time they want you to choose the data flow templates. So go ahead and click on data flow templates. And under the master copy, you should have the data flow template sales data. Okay, the next step we are going to check the data inside of the transaction file. This file is should be under Blackboard, and it's named sales data V01. So we'll go and locate that file. And as you can see, you have from year 2007, the month, the day, the customer, the order number, the order item, the product, the sales quantity, unit of measure, the revenue, and in currency, and any discount that was given. So you have actually the line items from every sales order that you have sold to customers. Okay. They asked us actually to open it in Notepad, so you would be able to see it better. So let's do that. Yeah, so that's a much better view of the information inside of the file. As you can see on the very first row, these are the fields, and then the data from each individual order to customers that you have sold from year 2007 all the way until 2011. Okay. Now we are going to create a data source. So you will need you should, when you have saved, after you hit enter, then it doesn't allow you actually to save before that. So you need like to save after you have already applied the template, and you should get a number. You should get like the data flow MU12 DS data flow sales data 0, and your number is already saved. So now we'll go to data sources. And we'll create a data source, and we will fill in the information, same thing like we have done with the master data. So your data source is MU12 data source sales data and 0 and your number, and the type is transaction data. On your general tab now, you are entering the long description MU12 044 sales data. Of course 044 should be 0 and your number. And the application is ZMU, that's your number. It has to have the Z before it. Now you'll go to the extraction tab and you will locate the CVS file the CSV file, the comma separated file for the sales data. And again, you will specify that you only have one header row and that the data is separated with like a separator with a comma. And that the number format is direct entry. And that would allow you to specify that the 1,000, again, remember this is a file entered in European country, so the 1,000th separator is the dot, and the decimal point separator is the comma, which is the opposite of what we use here in the US. On the Proposal tab, you want to now load the example data so that you can see how they look and allow here you have your fields and you can see the data that has been loaded. They are proposing these fields, the field names, based on the first row, the first header row. So go ahead and save that intermediate step. Okay, we need now to make modifications to the fields. So for year you have length 4 and it is the data type is numeric. Same thing for month. Day. Customer number. It's a numeric character, so it's either a numeric or a character. Order item. Order number and order item. And then product should be a character. Sales quantity is a quantity. Unit of measure is a unit. Revenue is a currency. Currency is a currency key, so that's like a $sign or a euro. And the discount is a currency. Now you have to change the length 4, 2, 2, 10, 10, 6, 18, 11, 3, 17, 5, and 17. And the two fields that have decimals are revenue and discount. Again, the externals need to change to 422, 10, 10, 6, 18, 15, 3, 23, 5, and 23. Last thing is the unit, and sales quantity is a unit of measure, revenue is a currency, and discount is a currency. So we'll need now to go to the preview tab and read preview data and activate, and you get a list of warnings, and that's okay. So just like click enter, and it activates the data source, and now you're about like to load the data, and you can see that data has been loaded with year, month, day, customer number, order item, the particular product, the sales quantity, a unit of measure, the revenue that you have realized, the currency. Some of them are dollars, some are euros, and the discount that you gave. So now we need to go back to the data flow and assign that data source. So go ahead and save and click on data flows. And you want to click on the second one. Now we are ready to assign the data source to the data flow. Remember that when you click on your data flow and you open your data flow sales data, it always open in display mode, and you need to change it into edit mode in order to be able to assign the data source. So right click on your data source and use existing object. And now you will try and locate yours. And the next step is now to create an info queue. An info package. Remember, you can load the data either as a lump sum, or you can do it through info packages. So we will do it through info packages. So you will right click on your info source, and you will choose create an info package. And go ahead and save. And now you will need to enter the description, and it is again MU12 044, and again the 044 is your number sales data. So you can see that the system had pulled out the information. You need to go under the extraction. And then you want to make sure that you have the right file, and that one header is ignored for rows, and that the data is separated with a semicolon. On the schedule tab, they ask you to click Save, and then click the Start in order to start loading the data into the PSA. And now you should see the message at the bottom of the screen saying data was requested. And you need to click on Monitor. And you can see that the message says request successfully loaded to PSA. So go ahead and click on the PSA to be able to see the data. So go ahead and select the first record. And you can see the first 1,000 records in the PSA. Remember, that was a very long file with all of the transactions in there, all of the order line items, every single line in every order that was entered in year 2007 up until year 2011. So it's quite a large file with a lot of records. Okay, now we have loaded data into the PSA, and we are able to either make changes. We looked at several. We said that in the PSA there are the records are categorized by each 1,000. So when we looked at the first 1,000. These are the records that are there. And remember that we said that when loading the data, you can load them all, or you can load them in info packages. So each 1,000 records is considered to be an info package. So so these are like your info packages right there. They tell you can delete it, so they say hit the first and then delete. Not sure you are seeing this, but we have highlighted one and clicked on the delete button over here. So now we are going to create and load data store objects. So we need to go to the data flow. And you should see two of them. It is the first one was the master data. The second one is the sales data, and click on change. And now you want to create a data store. So you will highlight the, remember it has to be in the edit mode. So highlight the data store and right click and click on create. Now the technical description is MU12 D1 and your number. And the long description would be MU12 and your number again. Sales items. And go ahead and click on new. And it tells you have to have a specific length. I think it's more than, it's like 8. I'm not sure if it, let's see if it will. Yeah, it cannot be more than 8. So we'll take away that one. So this is the data store object is similar to the info cube that you have created in the previous exercise where you were doing the master, when you were uploading the master data. So you see on the left hand side templates that you can apply, so you don't have to start from scratch. So now we are going to use some of the key fields that have already been provided by UCC to create info objects. So first we will try and locate the catalogs, and it's only showing you the ones that you have created. Remember, at the beginning of the master data exercise we created 2 catalogs, one for characteristics, one for key figures, but now you want to locate all of the info, all of the other catalogs from the UCC, so that you are able to see the ones that I have created and copy them instead of having to start from scratch. We'll try to search for it, and you search for MU0C and it will highlight it, and double click on it, and now you can see the characteristics, and you want to take the sales order and the order item and drag them under the key fields. Next, we would like to locate again the time characteristics, the calendar day, calendar month, and calendar year. So go ahead and click on all info objects. And under the time characteristics, you should be able to find the 0 calendar day, the 0 calendar month 2, and 0 calendar year. And you need to put them under the data fields. Now the rest are actually in your info cube that you have created, so go ahead and click on template. And choose your info cube from there. So here is mine. Now we want to drag the material and customer and the key figures that we have created, the sales, quantity, revenue, and discount, and again put them under the data feed section. So go ahead and take the material. And the customer. Then take the sales. The revenue. The discount. And the sales quantity. Oh, we already have taken the sales quantity. So we have the sales quantity, we have the revenue, and we have the discount. Once you add the sales quantity, because it is a unit of measure, it has the base unit of measure. Same thing for revenue, it has a currency key to it. So now we are ready to activate. And it says it has already been activated. And now go back to your data flow. So now we want to do the transformation. We are going to highlight that link between the data store and the info cube. We'll right click and choose create. And you want to make sure that the source is a data source, and that the name is MU12 data source sales data. And then your number 044, and then it is a PC5, and your target is a data store object, and the name is MU12 D044. Remember, we had to remove the 1 because it was more than 8 characters and it wouldn't allow us. And hit enter, and now you need like to again do the mapping. So you want to map the order number or actually it starts with the sales quantity to the sales quantity. Order number to sales order. The order item to the order item. The product to the material. The sales quantity already mapped. Unit of measure to the base unit of measure. Your revenue to the revenue. Currency to the currency key, and discount to discount. So we'll do them again one by one. Start by creating a link between year and year, month and month, and day and day. Then make a year, to the day and month, okay. So now when we click on the transformation rule, okay, they have it actually at the bottom of the screen. So we want to add the year first, concatenate, and have the month, and then concatenate, and the day. So make sure that you have the right formula. Year, month, and day. And go ahead and check it. And it will give you the message that formula syntax is correct. And now go back. And transfer the values to accept the transformation. So now you should see that A over B icon saying that there is a transformation in there. So go ahead and activate the transformation. And accept that message. And now we need to go back to the data flow one more time. Now we'll do the data transfer and load the data. So this time we will select that other arrow for data transfer and right click and create, and that opens the window, the create data transfer process. And for some reason it's not, they're supposed to get an actual information. So let me again stop. So now we are ready to create the data transfer process from the data source to the data warehouse. So now highlight the data transfer process and click on create and accept the system proposal. On the extraction tab, you need to change the mode to full. So since it is the very first time, we need to load all of the data. Okay, actually you need to check this. Because we have loaded to the PSA. And now we'll go to the execute and we will activate So you can see that everything has been generated, that requests have been processed. So everything is green, so nothing is if you want to see the data, make sure that the data has been loaded correctly, go ahead and click on Administer Data Target. So these are the fields that you have. And check the number of entries, and it tells you that 48,384 has been uploaded. These are the number of records or the number of rows. So go ahead and close that window. So if you try to find if there are any active records, it will say there aren't any, because this is your first time loading the data. So now we want to go back, and you want to choose the request tab, and you want to activate. And select that first, process claims. We'll actually move that to start. It will take some time, so you need to refresh to see if the request is still going or not. So it's currently going. You should see no request if everything is completed. So now after the request is completed, you should see a 0 in there. So close this window. And now when you check new data, you should not see any. The number of entries would be 0. Whereas if you check the active data, it should give you the same number as before, the 48,384 records. So now we will execute, and you can see now the records have already been loaded into the data store object. So now we need to go back to the data flow. And again, make sure that you are in the edit mode. And now we are going to assign the info queue. You need to search for yours. And now we will create the transformation. From the data store object to the info cube. You want to make sure that the source is your data store object, which is MU12D044. And again, remember that we couldn't add the 1 because it's only allowing 8 characters. And that the target is your info cube. Okay, go ahead and accept. And now you can see that all of the transformations are already there except for month and the net sales and the cost of goods sold. So they ask you to take day and connect it with month. So that the month will also show the day. Well, then I've actually did something wrong, so. And you want to connect revenue and discount to net sales, because net sales is really revenue minus discount. Okay, so we'll connect revenue and discount to net sales. And now we have to define the formula. So the formula is revenue minus discount. Remember, it doesn't allow you to type, so you have to choose. So go ahead and check it. Go back. And now you should see the formula symbol, that icon, that the formula is correct. And now you need to transfer values. So your net sales now is defined as revenue minus discount. We need to do the same thing for the cost of goods sold. Cost of goods manufactured. So we need to connect the sales quantity and the material to cost of goods. I just realized you're not seeing the whole thing, so I'm going to make sure it's there. So now for the cost of goods sold, we need to connect the material and the quantity. We are going to double click on the rule. So make sure in the source fields you have material and sales quantity. And now you need, the rule type is actually a routine. And you need like, okay, now you need like to write the code inside the routine, and this is it. Select single BIC MU0T transfer price. So you're selecting transfer price from BIC, and now this, the name of the table has your number in it. So it starts with a P and then MU12 for every one MA, and then it ends with your number. 044 is mine, yours is, and you have to be very careful about this. Into result, where BIC, and again your material should be MU12, MA0 and your number equal to source fields BIC/MU12MA and your number. So make sure that you have this, and the last bit, you have to end the select statement with a full stop, and then you write the expression that the result is equal to the transfer price multiplied by the quantity. the last thing is you need like to check, and you should get no syntax error found at the end. So go ahead and save it. So since you have both the transfer price and cost of goods manufactured are in US currency, you don't need to do any currency conversion. So choose no conversion. So go ahead and put a title or a description for that rule, like and transfer values. So go ahead and activate. And go back to the data flow. So now everything is loaded. Okay, now you're done loading the data. You want to look at the data, you can right click on your info cube and click on display data and choose the fields that you want to display, and They tell you to show the material, the customer, the month, the calendar year, the base unit, the currency, and cost of goods sold, the discount, the revenue, the quantity, and so all of them you should accept. So now execute that. So now you can see the actual data inside of your info cube. So everything is fine. With that, we end finally the second exercise of the ETL.